Imagine this for a second. You're waiting for that big moment, the first real signal from aliens, proof we're not alone. And then it arrives. But it's not a hello. It's a warning shot that basically says, human science, it's over. That's the terrifying heart of Liu Cixin's huge sci-fi novel, The Three-Body Problem. I mean, this book won a Hugo Award, sure, but it did more, right? It really shifted how we think about aliens and, honestly, cosmic horror.
Yeah.
So our mission today is pretty straightforward. We want to cut right to the core of why this book is such a landmark. We'll look at the cosmic scale, but also the really clever tech sabotage and, crucially, the deep historical roots in China that really set the whole thing off. Think of this as your shortcut to understanding why the three-body problem is just so important in science fiction today.
Absolutely. And to really get the cosmic stuff, you actually have to start much closer to home. We're talking 1960s China, right in the middle of the Cultural Revolution. Because the invasion, it doesn't just happen randomly. It's basically invited by human trauma. The book kicks off with this incredibly brutal scene. A physicist, Yi Zitai, is publicly shamed and killed. Just killed for his scientific beliefs.
And his daughter, Yu Wenji, she sees this happen.
She witnesses it all. And seeing her father murdered, seeing science itself attacked by political fervor, it just breaks something in her. She completely loses faith in humanity, like fundamental.
That's the core of it, isn't it? That disillusionment.
It's the catalyst for everything. It doesn't just, give her a bleak outlook. It kind of weaponizes it. So later, she gets recruited, ironically almost, into this top secret project, Radar Peak, or the Red Coast Base.
Okay.
It was a military thing using radio astronomy, basically trying to find extraterrestrial life, a state-sponsored SETI, if you will.
And so the same kind of system that destroyed her father and his work recruits her to do essentially the same kind of work. The irony there is just thick.
It's deeply layered, but for her, it seems her motives are, complex, maybe dark. She's the base, uses the technology, and eventually she beams her own message out into space.
And against all odds, she gets a reply.
She does, from Trisolaris. But the reply is stark. It's a warning from one Trisolaran, a pacifist, basically saying, don't answer. If you do, we'll locate you, and we will come.
Wow, a direct warning.
A desperate one. The Trisolaran explains their world is dying, unstable, they need a new home. But Yi Wenji, shaped by what she saw, convinced humanity is beyond saving.
She answers anyway.
She hits reply, she sends the invitation. And that single act, rooted in decades-old trauma and historical persecution, it condemns Earth to an invasion centuries down the line. It's betrayal on a cosmic scale.
So that message, sent all those years ago, is like a ticking time bomb. Okay, let's jump forward. Decades pass, the bomb is still ticking, but now things start to get weird in the present day. The story picks up with Wang Miao. He's a nanomaterials expert, and he gets pulled into investigating something really disturbing. A whole series of suicides among top scientists.
Right, and that's the first sign that something is deeply wrong, something unseen is at play. Wang gets drawn into, first the shadowy group called the Frontiers of Science, and then he gets involved in this incredibly weird virtual reality game called simply Three-Body.
Okay, the game is critical, isn't it? It's not just a game.
Not at all. It's basically a psychological tool. It simulates the reality of the Trisolaran homeworld, a planet orbiting three suns.
The classic physics problem, the three-body problem, inherently chaotic.
Exactly. Because you can't predict the orbits reliably, their planet has these stable eras where civilization can flourish briefly, but then, boom, a chaotic era. Maybe extreme heat, maybe freezing cold, maybe gravitational tides rip everything apart. Civilization's wiped out instantly.
So the game forces players to experience this constant existential dread, this instability.
Precisely. It's designed to condition them, to make them understand the Trisolaran and desperation for stability, and maybe even sympathize with the idea that Earth's messy, chaotic existence needs their kind of order. It's a recruitment tool for their cause on Earth.
Okay, this is where, for me, the science fiction just goes into overdrive. Wang's investigation eventually uncovers the truth. Yes, an alien fleet is coming, but it's slow. Like 400 years away, slow. But the Trisolarans haven't just been sitting idle waiting for the fleet, have they? They've sent something ahead. Sophons.
Sophons, yes. This is Liu Cixin's masterstroke, I think. Well, imagine taking a proton, unfolding it from its higher dimensions. The book uses 11 etching circuits onto it while it's unfolded, and then refolding it back into a proton-sized supercomputer.
A proton-sized supercomputer. That's mind-bending.
And they're sentient, or at least intelligently controlled. They can travel at near light speed. They send 4 to arrive at Earth almost instantly and essentially wrap themselves around the planet.
Okay, but what do? They're not blowing things up, right? It's more insidious.
Much more insidious. Their main function is scientific sabotage. They can interfere directly with particle physics experiments. Think Large Hadron Colliders, accelerators, the places where we probe the fundamental nature of reality.
So they mess with the results.
They make the results random, or contradictory, or just plain wrong. They feed scientists false data, make patterns appear where there are none, hide real discoveries. Essentially, they lock human scientific progress at its current level.
They didn't just break our tools. They broke our ability to understand the rules. They've, blinded us scientifically.
Exactly. If you can't trust fundamental physics research, you can't make breakthroughs. No new propulsion, no new weapons, no new understanding of the universe that might help you fight back in 400 years. It's genius, and it's terrifying.
It's complete technological stagnation enforced from light years away. But hang on, if they can do that, manipulate physics on a subatomic level, why the slow fleet? Why not just, use the sophons to destroy us now?
That's a really good point. The book suggests a couple of things. 1, the sophons, while powerful for surveillance and interference, maybe don't have the raw power for planetary destruction. 2, the fleet itself is bound by, physics we understand interstellar travel is slow. Their strategy seems to be about ensuring technological parity, or rather preventing human advancement. They want to arrive in 4 centuries and face the same level of technology that exists now. It's a long game based on guaranteed dominance later.
Strategic stasis.
Yeah.
Wow. That just creates this overwhelming sense of futility. And the book really leans into that, right? Humanity finds out, they realize science is blocked. Ye Wenji herself says something like, the sunset of humanity has begun.
That quote nails it. It captures so many of the big themes. First, there's just the sheer scale and, frankly, human insignificance. The Trisolarans literally call us bugs. It forces this massive, humbling shift in perspective.
Right, we're not the center of the universe. We might just be an infestation in a desirable location.
Pretty much. And then there's that whole chaos versus order theme. The physics of the 3-body system is a metaphor for, everything. Fate, civilization, the universe. Trisolaris wants absolute predictable order because their existence is chaos. Earth is messy, flawed, but maybe vibrant because of its chaos.
And it gets morally complicated too, doesn't it? It's not just Yi Wenji. There's a whole group on Earth actively helping the aliens.
Oh yeah, the Earth Trisolaris organization, the ETO. They're not just collaborators, they genuinely believe humanity is corrupt, has failed, and deserves to be wiped out or replaced by the supposedly more rational Trisolarans. It pushes the idea of betrayal into some really dark philosophical territory.
So when people talk about this book, what's the consensus? Obviously, huge ideas, hard sci-fi.
Definitely. It gets massive praise for the scope, the science, the philosophical questions, and importantly, for bringing this distinctly non-Western Chinese perspective rooted in that specific history, which felt really fresh to a lot of global readers.
But I've also heard criticisms, mainly around the characters.
That's the main caveat, yeah. Because it's so focused on the ideas, the physics, the plot mechanics, some readers find the characters a bit flat. Maybe wooden is a word sometimes used. They serve the plot and the concepts more than having deep internal lives, you could argue.
So it's very much concept-driven, less character-driven. Good to know if you're thinking of diving in.
Exactly. If you want mind-bending ideas in cosmic scale, it's incredible. If you need rich character arcs above all else, you might find parts of it, like the long VR game sequences, a bit dense.
Okay, so stepping back, let's try and boil this down. What are the big takeaways from this deep dive? First, history casts a long shadow, right?
Yeah.
Wenji's actions weren't random malice. They were born directly from that historical trauma.
Absolutely fundamental. And linked to that is the whole technology and ethics point. Whether it's humans misusing red coasts or aliens deploying sophons, the book screams that technological power without, serious moral thought is basically a recipe for disaster. For everyone.
And maybe the biggest one, adaptability. In a universe that's fundamentally unpredictable, like the 3-body problem itself, rigid thinking is lethal. Humanity's biggest challenge isn't just the aliens, it's how to cope when the rules you thought you knew are suddenly broken.
Yeah, and the book kind of leaves you there, doesn't it? Science, our primary tool for understanding and prediction, has been deliberately crippled. So what's left?
Which leads us to a final thought for you to maybe chew on. If the aliens' big weapon is sabotaging our science, our logical, predictable path, what does human resistance even look like then? If technology is blocked, what's our real strength? Is it something messier, more unpredictable, something rooted in that chaotic human element the Trisolarans seem to despise? What kind of ingenuity arises when science fails?